So, welcome to the first episode of Seasoned Scholar. Today's our guest is Professor Hiroaki Furumai from the University of Tokyo. This entire program has been designed when Sensei has completed his 65 years. On his birthday, we realized that it is time to share his journey, his knowledge on the way, which is not published as a paper, which is not written as a book, and maybe Sensei will take still more time to write any biography if it is possible. So in the meantime, it is better that we ask him his own journey and try to take the learnings by ourselves. So it will be not going to be a preachy kind of program, but it is, we will ask his journey, we will take his advice on a specific things, and whatever the learning we want to make, it depends on ourselves. So Sensei, thank you very much for accepting our invitation. And omedeto for completing 65 years.
Now it's 65 years, so senior citizens now.
Yeah. So today we are going to talk in three parts. The part A will be where I will be asking your journey since childhood. And part B will be where I will ask your some advice for everybody. And part C will be knowing you as a human being, your favorite food, your favorite drinks, and so on and so forth. So let's start with part A. Please, can you briefly explain your journey since your childhood? Where did you born at least, and your parents and like that?
So I was born in Okayama in Japan, 1956. Then when I was 3 years old, I moved to the Hiroshima city. So many persons knows to the atomic bomb damage in Hiroshima. Then when I grew up there until the high school, then I entered the University of Tokyo. And I successfully passed to the exam of the graduate program and master course, and also continued to the doctoral program. So it means I finished doctoral program 1984 March. Then after getting the degree, I got a position in Tohoku University in Sendai.
So can you tell me about how was your childhood? Whether you were a scientist from the childhood, or you were a curious child? How was you as a child?
So the one of I still remember the interesting talk my parents. So when I was a boy, so many times, so I asked them, why? So I found something new, and I got a curiosity. I asked them. So it means a kind of Wi-Fi question boy at the time. Then, but our parents, my parents, really well managed me. They provided a book or some new information by themselves. So gradually, I really happy to know new things. So that keeping a curiosity is one of my special feature of my personality.
So yeah, I think we all know that is also your way of supervising also, because, okay, tell me how did you do? So that is also a good way of not only learning, but also make people learn. I cannot forget that equation, but of course, it is too early to go into that deep. When did you think that your life has taken turn to go for PhD? I mean, you wanted to study, but why you choose to do PhD?
At least when I entered the University of Tokyo, I never thought go to the doctoral program. Just I want to proceed to the master course program, and I want to get some job in the government or national institutes or private company research and development sections. Then want to start my career in the society. But when I was the second year of the master course students, I realized so research topics and the research work is really interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, attractive. But I still have the concern on my ability or some skill to be continued to research in the doctoral program and finally got the PhD. Then I need to some consultations, but it was difficult. It is almost impossible for me to contact with a direct supervisor. I have a meeting with other senior professor, and I asked him, so how do I think about it? So he provided a really nice advice. Then I decided to go the doctoral program. So his advice is interesting. So he was he graduated university and go out to the working a private company for a long time. Then research and development, and he got a degree when working at a. Then he came back to university as a professor. So he told me that might be it is the best way for researchers to go out first to the society, then come back to the university to got the degree. But at that time, it was not so easy to go out, come back to university. So he finally advised me, you try to continue your work in the doctoral program, but still it is very important to keep some connections or some applicability or some kind of applications of your research to the society. It continued my basic part. Science, but still the science should be, or technology should be applicable to society or not is one important thing in my feeling.
Yeah, so I mean, until unless you went very near to that program, you realized that, okay, we can do PhD, and doing PhD is worth. So in PhD, it's like deciding the marriage. Okay, I want to marry, but the most difficult step is whom to marry. I mean, with whom to do PhD. So how did you select your supervisor?
Oh, basically, so my continue to my almost same topics when I start to the research the senior students, bachelor thesis. So phosphorus release from the sediment and continue to the same topics in the master course students, just like continue to my research topics.
So it means you worked with Ogaki sensei even
yes.
Even during your masters?
Yes, from the bachelor thesis. So he was one of the youngest professors in our department. Then just a 10 years difference. So he supervised like a little bit. In fact, we worked together in the laboratory at the time. So I was the first doctoral student. I was the second master course student.
Wow.
So he worked with me, kind of. So it's a very happy time for me.
And that's why you both were professor at the department at the same time. I remember I was there before he retired. So this is, I mean, this must be very amazing. And that bachelor, master, a long-term relationship, isn't it?
So sometimes it works well, but sometimes sometimes not so good. So the new environment, a new exposure is more beneficial for the young researchers to realize new thing or some recognize new find. So, but in my case, so I continue the same. But after finishing the doctor degree, I move out from the University of Tokyo. So that is very important for me. I was exposed to the new environment. I realized my common sense is not the common sense outside sometimes.
Yeah, this is very much important, actually. And that made you more suitable for Tokyo University when you come back. You came back with the experience of the outside world. And that's why you may be more understanding towards many foreign students and many other people, right?
Yes. So that I can keep some network connection with the other faculty member in other university. And so it means that once we meet some researchers in the conference, so we worked together before, so it is easy to communicate them. Yeah, that's a really advantage for me to have a really wide network of the university and national institutes.
So if I would ask that, yeah, I mean, after master's, but reaching to the master and then deciding to do PhD is still a very gradual process, but not many people even go for a master program. So it means they want to stop by undergraduate, I mean the bachelor degree. So if I would ask that, what made you attracted to the science? I mean, why you wanted to become a scientist and work in a R&D field? Because you told me that you wanted to work in R&D field.
I guess I can provide two possible answers to these questions. One is when I decided to challenge to the University of Tokyo, and I prefer go to the not the Faculty of Science. I want to go to the Faculty of Engineering.
Yeah.
Science is too academic, but I want to do science or technology, but I want to apply my solution to society, so that engineering is much suitable for me. So talk with my teachers in the high school. So he advised me, once you want to go to the Faculty of Engineering department, it should be go to the master course. He advised me. This is the one point I decided to go the master course at least. At the same time, so I have two elder sisters. So sisters also advised me. So in the field of the engineering at that time, so there are many engineers, but the advanced education is really important to work more in the society. So the master course is kind of essential for me to do it. But I not want to be a kind of some deep and narrow eye. Once we'll go to the doctoral program, my eye little bit narrow and narrow down. So I don't want to be a doctor. It is at that time, it is not right understanding or some recognition, but still I want to do more in the society after get advanced knowledge.
I mean, I understand that, and I remember that while my PhD 2-3 chapters has been completed, you asked me that what is the application? So you have to have some application of your work. And that's where I think you have given me, you just have mentioned the criteria to choose in engineering and science. People are just, they just want to do engineering and not science. But the point is that if somebody wants to apply their knowledge, they should go for engineering for sure.
So we should do the deep in science, but in the engineering side, just looking at the technology is not so good. Okay, just to deepen the science, based on the science, then we can apply. This some achievement to the society or actual. I want to solve some environmental problem. So solution is really important for me at the time. I still now it is also important for me.
Yes. Always been important. Then comes the topic. I mean, you decided PhD, you decided the application part. How did you choose topic? Because there may be several, and so how did you decide on that?
So when I was a senior student, so I started the master thesis research. So at the time, Professor Ogaki provided several topics. So at that time, maybe 4 or 5 students belong to his laboratory group. Then one of them is the phosphorus release from the sediment in the coastal canal. Then I prefer to do the outside as well as the experiment in the laboratory.
So field and the experiment.
Yeah, both. Some just research topics on the experimental work in the laboratory. I want to go out. That's the reason why I select to the phosphorus release from the sediments. Then, after finishing the master bachelor thesis, I continue to almost same topics, but I moved from the kind of some coastal area sediment to the eutrophic lake sediments.
Lake sediment.
Yeah, because the water resource, lake water is one of the important resource in the Tokyo regions. So one of the eutrophic lake, Kasumigaura, is really important to be investigated more. Then I guess so the professor have the research grant. I involved in that. Then I work with the researchers in the National Institute of Environmental Study in Tsukuba. Then I visit many times to the Kasumigaura. That is just a continuations of the phosphorus release from the
so it is until master, and in the PhD?
Yeah, same.
So you expanded on the, you added a lot of more technique and like that.
Yeah.
So what about the afterward? I mean, of course we can go afterward, or if you can choose that, what is your advice to the young people to select their topic? How they should think that they can do PhD, or they should do PhD or not?
So there are several pathways. So in my case, I graduated university and proceed to the same university. Also, PhD program is same. So that's the reason why not so
the tough
easy
decision,
to change the topics, but expand the view or some vision on the topics. In fact, I introduced to the new technology or new methodology like phosphorus form fractionation method.
Yeah, fractionation method.
Developed by the soil science, and also applied to the radioisotope technique for the enrichment method or exchangeable fractions. Then I made a model. So it means that we added more and more. Just observations, I expanded more, developed to the more dynamic
understanding.
Yeah. Then, but in the case of my similar situations, might be continuation is okay. But if they interested in some other new topics when they become to the doctoral program, so it is also nice to select to the new topics. But sometimes we in our department, we accept to the some international students from the doctoral program or master course program. In that case, usually they change the topics because to the department or professor have some limitation to select to the new topics. Okay,
and the conditions can be different, but but everybody selects based on their previous training and affinity. I know that you asked me what is your passion and what is the current project and my interest. You have to club this and find a.
But the most important thing to the selection of topics is if the students have no interest, not good.
No.
Interest or curiosity to do something. I want to know unknown things. So this is the really important. But still, at the beginning, it is not so interesting. But do some
later on,
learn more, so they can find to the it is have not been done yet. I want to do this. So this kind of feeling come out. So they really love the topics. It is a good way to select the topics?
Yeah, I mean, this is also, I always use your technique because I have license too. But I ask them that because passion is very much important. I can tell you that that one question the changed because I don't know why I said isotope. Suddenly when you asked, tell me your one passion, and I said isotope, and then you said, please see that what kind of project I am running and where you can fit in. And that one day was enough. I remember that day I left, and then next morning I didn't sleep overnight, and next morning I sent you email about isotope dilution technique. Although you don't remember, I remember this. So, and it was such a nice and very new topic even that time, and even now few people work on that area.
Maybe that's. I already have experience using the dilution method, use the late isotope. It is not a big barrier. Technique in your work. In the case of the sediment, but just the soil or something, it's easy to understand. It is a very strong technique to identify the exchangeability of the target compounds. I like it.
Yeah. So if such vision is clear, then one can find the research topic very easily. Because you didn't have such break before choosing PhD. Because sometimes people go to the job and then come back for doing PhD. But everybody goes to some kind of uncertainty after finishing the PhD. So after finishing the PhD, how were you thinking and how was your journey to go for postdoc, or you immediately got a job, or you have to do job hunting? What?
So other times I do not worry about some working place, but I prefer to work after finishing the PhD program. I want to get a job in the national institutes or just the university research positions. But basically, I do not work anything about it. Just I told to the Professor Ogaki, supervisors, I work hard. And you try to find any position is okay. A position in the private company or institutes, any position is okay. But please find the positions because I already met my wife at the time. So I decided to get married at the end of the doctoral program. So it is very important to have a job. So fortunately, professors provided the chance to apply to the research associate at one of the national university in Sendai, Tohoku University. I got a job. But still, when I was a doctoral student, I don't worry about any positions. Just I want to do some research and development work in any places.
So do you remember your first lecture as a faculty?
First lecture was given Kyushu University. Yeah, because a research associate, no chance to give a lecture. Just assistant to the laboratory work. So I promoted to the associate professor, 1988, I guess. So at that time, so I had to give the lecture. I'm not sure how did I manage, but I prepare some contents of the first lecture is might be storage engineering or something. Storage or water environment something. I don't remember well. I'm sorry.
No, but do you remember any nervousness or any excitement?
No. Maybe it is really. I like teach. I teach something to other. So one of the reasons, so when I was a graduate student, I also had a part-time job to preliminary school who want to go to some high school or some university So they prepare for the entrance exam. So I have the many experience to give the lecture to the young junior high school students, including elementary, primary school students, junior high school and high school. And I still remember, so I need to do some, got a part-time job salary. So my colleague advised me to contact to this school. Then I went there. So the boss of this school asked me to, on that day, please give the lecture to the primary school students.
Oh.
Then, of course, this is a mathematics. It is easy to explain.
Yeah, is it?
I did it, maybe 45 minutes. Then he judged me. So you were really nice. And I decided to the high rate of the salary. I still remember. So might be, I really enjoy to talking with pupils, and I try to know what is the unknown or difficult for them to understand. I try to explain them. So basically, I like teaching.
So here also, what is your advice to be a good teacher?
Good teacher, advice. Teacher. So
Preparation
and preparations, and try to find what is the difficult point for the students to understand. To provide to the some additional information or figures or some equations or some other. So it is a good idea to expect what not so easy to be understand. If I expect expectation there, so easy to prepare for that. Just coming questions, not so easy to respond properly, but in advance, I feel this kind of some question will come, so easy to answer to them. So expectations or preparation is really important to give a good lecture. And after one lecture finish, I review. Then next time.
So you review yourself, or you get review from a student?
It means I review myself. That part I could not teach well, so I can revise more. Or sometimes I got a question from the students, so the kind of some feedback from the students. I believe that it is not so difficult, but they feel difficulty. So I try to improve or change the teaching way. So the feedback and also self-review.
So a loop, it works like a loop, because even if a student doesn't, students do not ask, but we know in our mind whether we did well or we can do more. So so that's why.
That's the reason why. So I try to distribute small sheet after the class. They write down, so that there are two important things. What is the most difficult point for you today? And the second question is, are there anything to be improved next time? It means I ask them, so I cannot give the same lecture again, but the next year, so your comments or review feedback can be used to improve my lecture now next year, so that your comment is a really treasure for the next year's students. Then they provide the question, comments.
So
it is really
this one you used to do every year, every class?
Every class. Every class.
How much time you give them to write?
That was just 5 minutes. Some students just none. But some among to the 10% students write a detail, 3 line, 4 line. But some students just 1 line. But my custom or kind of some kind of hobby. Finishing a lecture, I just gathered list and check the absent students or not. On the way back to my home on the train, I reading. During the commutations, I read it. Then I review my lecture.
Right.
So it is a kind of some fun time. Oh,
Yeah.
comment come, right.
And I have seen, actually in Japan, the traveling time is one of the very fruitful time. I also studied a lot of paper. I cannot study being at home because I have the home responsibility, being at office because I have to do experiment or write something. But being in the traveling, being in the train, it's a good time to read.
So in fact, I have the more than totally maybe more than 1 hour to 30 minutes or 20 minutes something, but it was dangerous. So I read just a general paper, so it is okay. But I review the paper or your draft of the dissertations. I get into this.
Yeah, so much that
miss the station. Other times, maybe once a month, I go through the destination and then come back. So since then, I do not select the more free reading.
I also felt that concentration level is very high in those in the subway or in the flight. Concentration level is very high. I don't know why.
It depends on the situations.
No, I feel like there is not much to disturb the brain. We know that we cannot do about this anything. The flight is going. I have nothing to do. Okay, let's focus.
But recent years, I used to since I bought to the iPad or mini, then I mainly read to the newspaper.
Yeah, this one is you're also very good at updating technology. I know that when you start using iPhone and you said that so you are not scared of new technology and you believed in updating yourself.
But yeah, not so bad, not so good. There are many new technology there. I cannot catch up with this high technology.
In Japan, I have seen it has different trend. But after PhD, why didn't you go abroad for doing postdoc?
At that time, so I did not have any this kind of things. But in the future, so maybe 30s or after 5 or 6 years later, maybe I try to find the chance to go abroad for study. In fact, I got a chance.
Yeah, so, 11 years.
Yeah, when I was 35, maybe 2000? No,
91. Yeah.
90. So 1990 and 91. So I had a chance to support to the Kyushu University for young professionals to study abroad. So fund is not so big, but big enough for us to go outside and to study. Then I 3 months in Stanford University, then almost 9 months in the University of Illinois. It was a really important time and a big
learning,
a big change in my feeling. So I learned a lot. So new environment exposure. So and also I stayed in Stanford University. Perry McCarthy is a professor. So he was really busy person, well known. I read the paper, but I'm just a visiting scholar. So he was too busy. But I asked him, can I have some meeting with him? So finally I got a chance to talk with lunchtime. He opened the lunchtime for me. Then I bring in some idea and do some research possibility. Then he provided to the one doctoral PhD dissertations. No, just a dissertation. Then I learned a lot about it. Then this is the kind of hydrogen behavior in anaerobic processes. Then I do some research work or the modeling work. How do hydrogen is affect to the some fermentation or methanogenations and something. So I make some program there. That's the first time for me to expose to the Macintosh.
Yeah.
I decided to buy the really expensive one, but I decided to the Macintosh, Stanford University version, academic price. Then I bring in Illinois. I continue to work to the biofilm, model kinetics. I did not do the experimental work, not so big, but mainly modeling work in the United States. But I wrote to the 2 or 3 paper based on that.
You also been in 2000 to 2001 in Oregon State University.
No. Oregon is just one month or something. Oregon State University then moved to the Airwork in the Switzerland. So it means at that time I studied to the stormwater management. So the Professor Huber, so he established to the swim model in cooperation with the EPA. So at the time he was in the Florida University, but now at the time he became a professor in the Oregon State University, and I contact with him. Then I stayed there. I learned to the swim model there. Then I moved to the Airwork.
Oh, you've been to University of Stanford, the University of Illinois, and EVAG, and this one, and also Tokyo University. So if I would like to have a comparative understanding, or how do you compare them, or how do you say that what was the specific thing that you learned from there? Like you might say that you learned discipline here, technology here, or I mean anything in any way. What makes them distinct or different from each other?
Basically, so Oregon State University, I learned about the swim model. So the 1 month there, so very limited time to do some research, just focusing on learn more from professor. And maybe Stanford University 3 months, but the first time for me study there. So the maybe 1 month, 2 months is occupied, accustomed to the life in the United States. Yes. That's the reason why I just have the communication with other faculty member in Stanford University to learn what the university or department manage and move on. And I also want to know how the Perry McCarthy find really new topics. So once he started, many persons follow. So I asked him, so how can I find the most important new topics? But he did not give any
reply.
No, just as usual. So then in University of Illinois, I want to introduce to the kind of some new biochemistry technique, including PCR or some primer. I did not do that, but I learned there. At the same time, so biofield modeling, I combine and bring back to university.
Wow, I mean, now I can understand that how could, many times I was very stunned, not I, we all were very stunned that how come sensei knows so much biology? Also chemistry, also, I mean, model, because if somebody is good at modeling, they are scared of chemistry. If they are good at chemistry, biology is like, no. But now this, so you always been so interesting for the other many subjects.
So yeah, but in the case of chemistry, when I was a master course student, so the Professor Ogaki proposed us to read the aquatic chemistry textbook. It is really famous chemistry textbook for university. And fortunately, the Japanese version, translated book, is published. Then
Right.
we start to reading to the translated one. Then almost 2 years go through the two book, and we're trying to find the mistranslation in the book. Go back
Ah,
to the chemistry. That's I reviewed the old part of the chemistry for 2 years. Every week or something. 1 year, no, not 2 years. 1 year. Every week, continue to reading and to confirm the contents. So this is a big power for me to establish to the chemistry concept at the time.
oh, and how about the biology? Like why you went? Okay, I can learn
Biology.
PCR.
PCR is just knowledge. I do not do many things, but I learned that when I was in the University of Illinois, so new technology come out. I want to learn there. Then I involve in some research project there, and also talk with the PhD students. So at that time, one of the PhD students is the Professor Smets in the DTU, Denmark Technology University of Smets. At that time, a PhD students, and one more students also now is a professor in the Michigan University. So several PhD students working on these topics and working. So I also learned from them at that time. So the basic knowledge, yeah. Also, I read a book. So, and
so I mean, I am very much greedy about this gathering different knowledge. Even I don't know that what I will do with it, whether I will be doing future research on this or not. But I am very greedy on if there is something new, let's learn it. We will see what can I do later on. So do you think that approach is good? Because the model you were doing basically a chemistry part of things, phosphorus fractionation and those toxicity and pollution. Then you went to the model. Swim model is of course related, and which become which bring lot of recognition for you in coming days. This urban drainage model has made Furumai the professor, right?
So basically, so more than 15 or 20 years ago, I used the 3M. 3M means M. So we have to understand to the environment situations or kind of environment of some dynamics by monitoring. We can get to the monitoring data. Okay. But to express to the complex behavior, mathematical model is really important or powerful to understand more. And after modeling, we can find to the new important processes, ReAcTT point, then we can restart again, revise to the monitoring work, then support each other. So based on the monitoring work and the modeling work, then we try to make some better management. So now is the 3M come out. This is my 3M concept. That's the reason why experiment is also important, but also go outside and monitor the situations and to express to the dynamics and some processes or natural environment. So modeling is more useful to understand more detail. Then based on that, we introduced a new idea to protect the pollutions, installation of the tank, or new technology operation of a treatment processes. Modeling provide to the predictions or forecast. This is really useful to advance to the management of the environment. So this is a really important idea.
Yeah, I mean, this is really a magnificent, that is also from M, magnificent method of having a good research approach. So monitoring, modeling, and management makes a magnificent method to have yeah.
Improve, provide the solution of the environment. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a very comprehensive and holistic approach. There should also be, and that's what happens. I felt that initially my career was starting from the monitoring. Still, I do a lot of monitoring, but then the model always gave me the impression. And nowadays, I work or publish a lot of things in management part, because we feel that now we understood, so we can know that how to manage. We can give some method and like that. So if I would say, because the cultural difference, the cultural, yeah. I mean, if a Japanese people goes to the West and the West people comes to the here, so there is a cultural shock, people say. So what kind of this cultural difference you encountered, teaching way you encountered? So in that term, how was your experience so far?
I'm not sure it is not the culture or not. So, but the difference between the university education in the United States and the university in Japan, when I studied in the United States, so I believe that some undergraduate program educations, it's much better or more higher than the education in the United States. But once enter the master course program, really extensive educations program. But in Japan, master course students, a little bit small size of the schooling, but the research education is highlighted more. But in the case of master course students in the United States, schooling is really high level. So in fact, I attended to 2 or 3 some graduate course. I got the permission from the professor. I also solved the homework every class. It is a really powerful teaching way to the students. Then I introduced to the more frequent homework to the students. This is one big difference between the master course program between the United States. And one more difference, cultural things. When I stayed in the Switzerland area, so at the time, so we have a group. I belong to this group, and once a week or once a month, we also have this party. So party organized by the host. So usually host is a birthday, or host move out to the institutes. They organize a party, but in Japan, usually due to the birthday person is celebrated by others. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It means in the Switzerland, so that the person who have the birthday brings something and serve other persons and have a party. So since then, I started to the birthday cake by myself from Switzerland, 2000 there. Since come back to Japan 2001, every birthday I bake a cake and brought to the university. I continue to the more than 20 years.
Right. So I mean, yeah, and so now I know that where you learned cake cooking. I mean, because when we were in Tokyo also, all the time you bring the cake by your handmade. And that makes us feel nice that it is sweet, it's good, and it is made by our professor. So that gives us a lot of feeling. Yeah.
That's the cake, yes.
And
yeah, so I do not know the cultural difference, but not the cultures, I guess, but when I clearly understand to the airwork, Switzerland. So, and also I involve in more work of the IWA, Association of International Water Associations, as a board member. So in Europe style, so they're responsible their own job. But sometime in Japan, they make a team, support each other, and help each other. But in Europe, just selected their own job. If outside their job, they never do it. So each person have the responsible for path. So it is a little bit different feeling for me. But might be that's the reason why they easy to go home on time. But in Japan, in company, if the boss still working there, younger person never go back to your home. It is also bad custom, cultural custom. But I realized some difference between to the Europe and Japan at that time.
See, if when we ask these kind of questions, then only the best comes out, or memory gives you the answer. That is the beauty. I knew that I would be able to take these memories out from you. So if I would talk in terms of who has affected you or in the most in your life, like your father, Ogaki Sensei, or Perry McCarthy, or later, who and what has inspired you the most so far?
Inspire me might be Professor Ogaki and also Professor Matsuo in University of Tokyo. Is a very big influence to me. Of course, Professor McCarthy and I also met to the Professor Rittman in University of Illinois. But two professors in University of Tokyo have a very long time to communicate or know each other, and also supervise me. And also the Professor Matsuo was the official supervisor when I got the degree, because the Professor Ogaki was in AIT, Asian Institute of Technology,
Thailand.
So that's the reason he was the supervisor, but he could not be an official supervisor because he is abroad. So it made two persons. So I can tell the one things. So I have two sons. So first son's name is coming from my father's idea. But the second son is from my idea. And because to the Professor Ogaki his name is Shinichiro. Shinichiro is a given name. Shin is the Chinese pronunciations. This is also in Japanese, it's Masa. Shin is Masa. And Professor Matsuo, first name, given name is Tomonori. So the combination of Masa and Nori, one word, and Masanori is given to the second son.
Sugoi. I mean, this is one of the best way to say thank you and for that lesson, for the teaching, for the care. Wow. I don't want to have fourth children. But if you would have told me before, I could have put some. So, but I don't want to be. Maybe grandson.
You try to.
So Furumai and Ramanathan or so I can think of something.
Not the family names of given name.
Oh, Hiroaki and Algappan. So he will be Harappan. Okay. This is in terms of the individual people who have influenced. But a particular idea or something that has influenced you to become whatever you have, you become.
Idea.
Yeah, I mean some guidelines, some principles, some like a theory, a kind of principle people keep, and that makes them something because
kind of basic policy or something. So I can say that I have to prepare in English. I check to the internet. So okay. So maybe this kind of some saying, famous word from famous clever samurai in Edo era. That is the Uesugi Yoza. So he said that in Japanese first. So naseba naru, nasaneba naranu, nanigoto mo, naranu wa hito no nasanu narikeri. This is the meaning. Is translated in English. You can accomplish anything if you do it. Nothing will be accomplished unless you do it. If something was not accomplished, that's because no one did it. The kind of some based on that, it is too wrong. Naseba naru something, but I believe that some continue to the effort, making efforts is a really important basic policy. I do my best, but do effort is my basic policy. And one more is might be, I want to keep to the self-reviewing and also curiosity is a really core backbone of me. So it means one word is the Socrates, I'm not sure he said or not, but anyway, ignorance of the knowledge. We have to realize I do not know everything. So that's the reason why I keep into the curiosity. I want to know more what this is to understand more. So what kind of new methodology, what new idea are there? And I also do it, but how it works or not, I review it. So this is a really backbone or basic policy for me. So that kind of short word is the making effort continuously. And also I want to keep the curiosity or something. Yeah, this is my.
Even this 2 minutes is enough for enough reason to make all the effort to have this conversation. I mean, the way you put it is really really impressive and touching. I think I would just now this is the last part of your journey question, and then we will go for some lessons. Is that what are the main milestones of your career? What you see that, yeah, I was going this, here I jump, and then again I go this, and then I got another jump or something.
So I try to understand the meaning of milestone, but any some new
breakthrough,
breakthrough.
So
that I got a PhD. That is the first step.
First milestone.
And milestone, and the start point to study or work the different university or department environment. I know more, and also I changed the research topics from the phosphorus release from the anaerobic processes, anaerobic digestions. Big change to the environment, big change to the topics. Then after 2 years, I moved to the Kyushu University. So it means also exposed to the new department. I continue to work to the anaerobic digestion, by getting to the permission from the professors, but I involved in the water quality monitoring in tidal rivers. So I conduct the 24 hours monitoring work there, and also develop the water quality dynamic in the tidal river. I got a paper award on that. Anyway, so I worked there. But this first is the big after getting a PhD, I exposed to the different university. And second milestone might be the United States overseas research. I exposed to the different education system and I learned a lot from the well-known professors. And I also improved my English communications. This is second. And come back. Then I moved from the Kyushu University to Ibaraki University, local national university. Then I work hard. Then maybe third one is I have to do by myself. It means move to the Ibaraki University, there is no boss. So I have to manage by my research group. I have to get the grant. I manage everything and supervise the students. Then I select the new topics there. So at that time, I remember, I recall the interesting story or idea. So I worked hard really. Then I did a lot, but still we do not have any local students there. But the University of Tokyo, there are many environmental engineering professors, research associates, and the PhD students, master course students, lot of group. But one local university have a very big limitations, only 1 or 2 faculty members. So I make a strategic plan. I contact with the next prefecture university working on environmental engineering, next other national university to the different prefecture, and make 3 or 4, we make a network. Once to come together, number of faculty member also comparative to the University of Tokyo. Then I started to visit to their university and the discussion time. Because as you know, the joint research meeting, our department is really important time for students to learn more. Almost same, but different research topics. Then also learn to the new methodology approach way. So once we make a small group on the one university, so I try to expose our students to other university and discuss together, then make a network and discuss together so we can
learn more and more.
Learn more. Then I started to this strategy, but after the 4 years, I come back to the University of Tokyo. So my plan cannot complete it, but I have this kind of idea. So it means what I want to say, moving to the little bit standalone professor working in Ibaraki is also third milestone and come back to the university and I promoted the professor. Also, I have to responsible for research group. This is a very important milestone. Yeah, I have many milestones.
Yeah, I know you can keep on discussing, but initial milestones are more important and more critical. So thank you very much for explaining your journey with so much enthusiasm. And yeah, so although I explained you in your journey, but I will take it in the portion of part B, where we are going to talk about your philosophy. And we already talked something about that. How did you manage the change and how your experience has changed yourself? I mean, I am no more a Kumar of 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Yes, time has a lot of impact in our approach, in our thinking. So how do you see your change? How can you describe your change as a researcher, as a teacher, as a supervisor, as an administrator?
Every time, so we change. And sometimes we have the big change due to some new experience or new big work and to expose to the new situations. So I have not managed it. Just I do I want to do, I did, I should do.
One example, let me put, is that
Okay.
when we went in 2006 or 2005, you were considered as one of the very dangerous teacher. I mean, the dangerous teacher means, yeah, very strict, very strict.
Yeah.
But with the time, we have seen that you become more kind. So in that approach, that how life has changed you.
Life change. Yeah, according to the age, and also the changing to the family. So it is a very important factor to change my working style or some thinking way. So once we have the children, so I realize more about the students' feeling, because I also know how the children think about when they are 20 years. And they go to the company, they also face to the new challenge. This is almost similar to the PhD students. So I know more closely. So I realize, and in that case, how to communicate with them. So similarly, not the strict, as well as the more kind way, or some try to understand their situations. That's the reason why from the strict to the more kind or some. But the strict means, when I was young, I tried to compare me when I was a student or a young professional. So you could more and more
do it, yeah.
But I realized also the children, so a little bit changing. This is one factor. And also I got a big project and conducted, and we also communicate with other professors in other university, and also make a big team. So diverse conditions come out. So I also I was exposed to the different idea concept, and they works well for Biden. So I learn more. So when I was just become to the associate professor or professors in University of Tokyo, still I have narrow idea, but still I organize a big project and communicate other university professors. I gradually widen my eye or education's way. They introduce a good point and gradually do it. But the basic principle is same. But if the students work hard and do their best, I never be strict. But still they have some room to do more. I try to point it out, then try make them do better or something. So that means a strict. But once they did well, so I'm happy, and students are happy. So this basic part does not change, I think.
Yeah, core doesn't change, but why the idea here from this question is extract the knowledge which can help us to mature better, or to face those changes in our life also. Because when I was in master, more my teacher or my parents were more understanding. But once we become a professional, then we have the narrow bandwidth to commit or make mistakes. So in that term, how to whether or how to be mature well, and what are the things we should keep in mind while dealing with the colleague, while dealing with the students or administrators?
As a administrator or some managing persons of this research group, so we have to look at the good point for each person, and also try to find a weak point as well. Okay, so then to the never directly compare to the student.
Very important.
Based on the each person's as much. Sometimes some I try to use some example, but not a direct comparison. So, but still based on each person's work or idea is a really important point to supervise them. And I try to keep the chance for them to thinking by themselves. So University of Tokyo, there are many talented students. It is easy to teach them directly.
Yes.
But I teach some, just a hint. After that, how they absorb or digest, and they develop their own idea, even if it is not so good, but there's a new idea come out. So it is really important to evaluate them or appreciate them. So this kind of some manner or way is really important. Not too much give. Small, minimum.
Not a spoon feeding.
But in fact, not so, as you know, the Kasuga sensei, he's one of the students, former PhD students. So in his case, maybe he did by himself. I provided small, but still he thinking new. Of course, at the beginning, I provide some idea or some approach based something, but after 1 or 2 years later, so he tried to make their own plan and discuss together. So I'm really happy. So it means that once the startup, so that even if the students, PhD students, I'm a professor, but still in the domain of the research, same level, discuss together, discuss evenly. But I have more knowledge, I have more experience. Based on that, I supervise or advise them, but on the new field, on the same domain. So I want to discuss on the same level. But in that feeling too much when they are master course students, tough for them. But once they started to the research, I want to keep this concept. So researcher is the same, okay? Let's do best by themselves, but once on the thinking about one topics, so they should do more. But in fact, I believe that. So one student have their own topics, one topics. But in my case, I supervise many things, many topics going on, and a very limited time to learn, limited time to review the many papers and also the new information, new technology. So I'm only one person, but they have the many chance to learn more. So even if they have the limited experience or something, but still they have the stronger part than me. So that's the reason why once the students come in, so the first year, second year, but the last year, so when you finish to the PhD degree, you should overcome me. You should point out, sensei, you are wrong. This is wrong understanding. So this is the right understanding. So even if that's one criteria, I'm happy to give a degree. So I'm sorry, I'm not sure to.
No. So actually, I remember very specifically, and today it has been explained by you that theoretically, but I have the practical experience. You told me several times that the day you will know more on this topic, I will be happy to give you or ask you to submit your thesis. So this is because this is your topic. You are doing PhD on this topic, not me.
Yeah.
And you also said that we are researchers. I am just a senior researcher. You are a researcher, and PhD is a training for being a standalone. A standalone researcher is a good your pet word.
Yeah, standalone to become a standalone after getting the PhD. This is the important criteria.
You have explained the several aspects of managing lab, and this is very nice. You have told that we have to identify the strength of a given person and weakness of the, also know the weakness of the given person, and also do not compare one-to-one ever. That are the very great messages that a person who has just started to manage the lab, or even as an individual, we should not compare ourselves direct comparison to somebody, because in many ways we are unique and different from each other. So my question is that what you do with by knowing their strength and by knowing their weakness, and how do you use this information for a better output? And if there is any conflict happens, how do you manage that? How did you manage that?
Yeah, I do not use this, I try to discuss based on understanding. I discuss with the students, then I try to make them to understand their own strong point and weak point. Once they recognize, they started to improve. And it means sometimes the strong point, really nice, that's good, your strong point, I said by myself. And weak point, you should do more on that or something. So continuing this one, so gradually students or researchers recognize their own strong point and weak point to be improved, and gradually to elaborate more efficient or effective work based on that. At the same time, so the not the weak point, just sometimes I provided to the hint to widen the antenna to get the new information. This is important. Don't narrow down to the own. Sometimes the really clever students is the really focusing narrow path and really efficient, effective way, and a good achievement. But still it is good. But in my feeling, little bit widen your eye and try to steer to the other methodology or approach way, and start to thinking about the possibility to apply your own research. So this is a really important kind of some training. So I remember the keyword analogy. Analogy is one of the key. So analogy is not the right meaning of analogy, but I studied some research. Then some other persons conduct different topics, a different way, but they introduce a new approach way, something. Then I make an analogy in my research. If I apply to the methodology, how can I adjust to modify or adjust to this my research work? Are there any point to be introduced or something? So analogy is sometimes so the much different science, sometimes really new idea come out. Just close to each other, still we can limit eyesight or narrow regions. But sometimes the social science was not the literature, but anyway, sometimes so the law in the water management, something, just the same topics of water, but talking with them will learn from them. So sometimes a much different research methodology exists. Then, of course, it is impossible to directly introduce but the thinking way or methodology or some framework would sometimes really interesting and useful for me to renovate the research approach way. So that's
I
reason.
asked, yeah, I asked you once about that sensei, because that day I have seen you talking about remote sensing and GIS with one professor, and I was just listening and I was knowing how he knows so deep about this GIS and remote sensing and all those things. How do you approach or learn so much about other subjects that? So you said that time that look, the questions remains the same for the whatever the science it may be, but you have to ask same question that the what is it, how it is being done, and so that's what you are trying to explain now, that how analogy can work, how analogy can be used, because it applies same principle. Curiosity, only we have 5 things: what, where, when, how, and like that. So by applying that, we can learn a lot, and that also gives a courage to learn new things, because we never are scared of anything that is new. We say that, okay, this is a new thing, but I have to ask only these 5 questions. Is it right understanding?
4W, 5W, 1H.
1H. Okay. Now, I would like to make it a little bit easier, and we will go to the publication part. Of course, I know I have, and I don't want the world to know how you approach, because to become your student, one has to give a lot of examination, and but it's time to share the knowledge. What is your suggestion for anybody to choose a target journal, and so that they can avoid rejection? For you, do you think impact factor is very much important, or publishing new things are important?
Of course, impact factor is really important to select the journal to be published, because it indicated there are some subscribers, it are more readers. But in
yes.
some cases, reader is there, but the most key persons or key researchers who are involved in that topics are more interested in that. So we can select to the other journal. So more relevant.
More relevant. Yeah.
Relevant journal is better than high impact. Of course, with high impact factor. So it means the more persons want. I would like to many persons to read, to criticize our research outcome, and to elaborate each other to find a new trends. So this is a publication meaning, of course, but at the same time, so but the open journal is coming out. Gradually, impact factor meaning a little bit changing in the future. So might be basically impact factor is developed some company or something. Okay, some part is right, but some part is not suitable to evaluate the quality of journal. Just more readers on the paper. So one important factor to be selected. To select
so journal. I mean, this I am happy, and you bring it out that impact factors are somehow. Initially, it seems like more impact factor, more respect, and more readership. It shows more rigor has been put while reviewing, better reviewer quality. If there is a high impact journal, the more high quality reviewer agrees to review the papers. But the many specialized journal, which belongs to that field, like groundwater or hydrogeology journal, or even for many other, by the specialized journal has not much, I mean, the impact factor, but they have the readership. We have the target audience.
Audience, yeah, target audience is also important. Of course, to the many famous high impact factor publications is a more big impact to the society, like science or natures. But in our case, it is not so easy to write this kind of paper in many cases. In this case, even if the not so well-known journal, but if there are many target, some researchers read this journal, it is also nice journal to be studied.
So, I mean, you've been editor of several journals, including water research for a significant period of time.
I finished my job.
Yeah. So, what are the things that is your thumb rule to reject a paper, to select a paper, to send it for review? So, how do you judge a paper?
Evaluation based on the novelty. New find. Okay, so it means title and abstract and conclusions. Sometimes that's enough for me to judge the first screening. Just 2 or 3 minutes is enough. And the contents looks interesting. I'm looking at the figures and table. If tables a figure show to the new idea or some new aspect, so I start to read carefully. But if, it is easy to expect it. And results and conclusions is too general and not just a case study. So this is a rejection upfront. So it means that when I was one of the editor of the water research at that time, so I have to review the 300 or 400 per year, but the half is upfront by me. Half is, but the other is to try to find to the reviewers, then judge. So might be 20% is usually
finally accepted.
Yeah, 25%. But even if the not so good, but still the upfront is a really big kind of some important judgment. So it is necessary to confirm. It would be rejected, but still I want to get to some confirmation from other reviewer. So most important things is the novelty and logic to reach. Now, it is important when I was write the journal paper, so clear purpose and corresponding conclusions. And this outcome have the new finding, novelty exists. It is possible for me to write the journal paper. So to achieve to the purpose, so methodology is right or not. And now conclusions, before conclusion, results, so properly or arranged and showing to the attractive way, then graph is really informative, easy to understand, and with the proper or logical discussions. And every time one conclusion needs at least one figure or table to support to the conclusions. If this set is okay, it is ready to submit the paper to the journal. So every time I advise to the students, this is a several checkpoint. It means almost similar to when I review the paper, submitted paper, I look at some basic part, and that basic part is too weak, reject it. If so, I read carefully, I check the figures or logic, then I evaluate.
Several times what happens is that some paper is very ambitious paper for us. Some results are really, we feel that this is the better results, valuable results, I would write a better journal in coming days. but then time flows, and eventually that paper gets struggles to get published. That has my experience. So what is your experience or your say is that do we need to do this kind of biasness? This is very important data. I will take time and prepare a manuscript, mature it, revise it many times, and then submit. This is a very quick data. There is a audience, and we will. I got it today. I will prepare the manuscript in a month or two and submit it. Which one is?
So it depends on the data quality or data some characteristics. So short communication is better. Maybe note or some rapid communication. But in my feeling, research paper, most important thing to the logic, some development or some construct clear, some explanation or interpretation with the novelty when you finding. In this case, so we make a clear structure, then also elaborate the expression of the data. So that's the reason for more time. But sometimes so rapid new monitoring work, if the more time to write the journal paper, we can submit to other way, research note or some other. So it is possible to select to the category of the
category of.
Also, some journal prefer to the rapid communications later time. So according to the type of the category, we can select as we like.
Yeah, no, but what I have received, for example, I will say, the paper that we published recently last year from my PhD in chemosphere, that portion of my thesis was really more valuable for me. But so I thought I will write it better and I will sit it, but time flows, and then it took time. Similarly, our previous work, where we have compared the seasonal pharmaceutical and virus in Brahmaputra River, that was a very heavy data for me because two-time data and seasonal and so I thought that I will take time and I will prepare it and publish. But gradually, it feels that now that I missed the time. I should have not been biased about that. I should have taken it as any other paper. Yeah, this is a bit more and I can write more, but I should not waste a lot of time in improving that work.
But the way it is not good idea to the waste of time. But if time is necessary to make it better, more attractive, or more make better, okay, to reach to the publications, so it is not a waste of time. Necessary time.
Necessary time.
Quality or some criteria. It depends on. But I do not write to the many publications also. 5 also paper, but 1 or 2 really high quality paper is much better. It's indicated by the citation. Number of the paper is small, but a lot of people read this and cite, so it is a good indication to understand.
So I mean, citation you value. Citation is important than impact factor. What do you?
Yeah. Yes. So in the future, this journal becomes the higher impact factor after the several years. So if the many papers with high citation indicate in the several years, so this journal becomes a higher impact factor based on this system. But now it's the open journal, as I told you. So open journal come out. So open journal is easy, more people easy access to the journal. So it means in your future open journal get relatively high impact factor. But sometimes so we subscribe money is high. Sometimes developing country researcher cannot read this paper due to the limitations to subscribe.
Yes.
Now is the open journal is the come out so that everybody can easy to access and easy. So, and also open journal have more chance to get a better papers. So gradually changing to the, not the market. How can a market is okay. So that's what every publisher also start to do the open journal. Just water research also open journal study.
Yeah, but do you think that this is good? I mean, because money, you have to take a fund to do the experiment and also hire the people, and then you publish. For publication also, we have to pay so huge money.
If too huge is not so good, but some grant system changing, they also provide to some publication cost can be included to the grant, the budget plan. So the gradually we changing might be the academic achievement should be shared everybody. So the government money should allocate some part of allocated to the publications. Not so good idea to the business like. Publisher get the money. It is another way. So gradually, I guess gradually changing. So it means that Springer or Elsevier. So if they can get a good impact factor journal, so the increase of subscribers, many library, so they earn a lot of money. That's the reason why water research becomes a higher impact factor in the field of the water environment or environmental research. So I got the benefit. Every year, I was invited to the really nice place of the one day editorial meeting and also one day kind of sightseeing something. So they pay for me to travel there and also support me many things. But still, they want to keep the high quality reviewing system. So sometimes the money is necessary to keeping the quality, but still I'm not sure it is good or not in the future. So it means academic achievement should be shared. Everybody is more important factors.
So what is happening is that in journal nowadays, lot of desk rejection happens, and the desk you have told your region and all that stuff.
Upfront rejection.
Yeah, upfront rejection happens, and many times it feels like it is luck. I mean, paper is here. If it would have gone to the different person, they might have sent for the review. So these days, little bit, there is a discussion on the way desk rejections are being made. Very good paper. Suddenly you will submit and within few hours it will get back to you. So do you think editors should be a little bit more rational about those things and give a little bit more thought before rejecting the work?
But basically the upfront rejection is really beneficial for the authors, in my idea. So it means really after reviewing, finally rejected, they have to wait 2 months more. But upfront rejection is several days. Within one week, I make a decision to provide to the main reason not be published in the water research. It means they have the chance to improve more or submit to other journals. If keeping to the water research deal with the submitted paper, they never submit to other journals. So upfront rejection is a very clever way for select and provide the chance for authors to find to other journal to submit. So this is my understanding. But the upfront rejection is a really powerful way. So that's the reason why. So the editor have to write clearly what is a weak point, why this is upfront. This is the important manner of the editing.
Would you advise a person to wait for a right job after PhD, or they should get whatever is coming on their way?
No, it depends on the case. It is not one unique answer. It depends on, but not to stick to one positions, or just I want to be a professor. So not stick to only, but in my feeling, even if you got some other some university positions, but you go out to the national institutes or private company, but they continue to do best. After 10 years, after 15 years, you can become a much better professor afterwards. If directly go to the professorship and continue to the 10 or 15, this is also possible to the different type of professors. That's even if the final professor's positions, we can select to the diverse way. This is only one pathway. But once you select to the position in the private company, so it is not so easy to continue to the some research work or some research development. I never select these positions. Still, there's some potential to work task is which I like it. I can select one of them and continue to do my best, and make effort, try to be. But after 10 years, I may have the different. I had wanted to be a professor in the university after 5 years, so I might change the idea. I want to be the Adana. Good. So just looking at the nano, but still looking at the dream, and still we can keeping the possible way, potential way, so keeping. Then go there, or you can find a new dream. So it is also nice. So I'm not sure this is the answer to your questions, but what I want to say that to the just zero sum 1 or 0. So there are many pathway or diverse way to find a goal. So the dream is there. So to reach to dream at some goal, so we can do many things to reach there.
I mean, you have given me given us a lot of nice philosophy, and it is new, new for me, because this one I have not. We never talked. I never knew these views. My question was mostly intended to, let's suppose that I feel I am of this caliber, and I am right now, the job or the responsibility that is coming my way is here. So should I wait to commit until here and then accept it, or I should just take it and don't waste time? In more sense is that let's suppose that many times what happens that the first job, somewhere I studied in Nature, an article in Nature, they said that after PhD, the first job is very critical. So in that context, I want your opinion that how do you like to advise if somebody today wants to make such a decision?
Just select what you want to do. That's all. Nothing. So how the persons think in the future, and if you find some possibility to work well, you can select it. But no too much challenge for them, maybe wait. But the waiting also new challenge. after 1 month, 1 year later, nothing come, it is also a challenge. But still, it is possible to wait 6 months or 1 year more because available current position have very limited potential in the future. So I do not advise them to select it. Even if it's a not so high potential, but if feel the boss of this company have the really flexibility for some really nice persons, if you enter this company or something and change the policy or change the boss to move forward, if you have some power or idea or some strength or some confidence to change something, if they have, they can select. So it means some new potential come out. But no way to change almost limited potential, I never select it.
Mm.
I have to wait for next potential positions after 1 month later, 6 months later. But still the not selection of this current is also faced with the new uncertain challenge.
Actually, this is case to case basis, and even today, if you will ask me whether it was a good decision or bad decision, I cannot tell you whether it was a bad decision or good decision, because I could had a lot of PhD students. I had a lot of human resource at my disposal, so I could do very early more publications and more citations has happened. We are human and we have to make decisions every day, in fact. And that makes us human, and that separates us. And so every day is an opportunity. And everybody should take their own decisions. I want to understand that what do you look in a CV or a person before saying yes for a PhD position or higher?
But the basic CV is some kind of educational history, and also sometimes to the research experience with the list of the publications. So once we look at to the CV, so we look at the age and the university, PhD degree, and also publications. So based on CV, so we try to find. But sometimes to the additional reference letter, if available, sometimes are really important to additional information to evaluate CV itself. So the CV itself, to select to the candidate, maybe personality or physical health conditions is more important, but only based on CV. We try to find, looking at age and the publications and the journal selections. Also, mainly looking at the recent publications. And it is the first author or second author, not to the number. First author or not. And also to the...
How about corresponding author?
Corresponding author is same meaning to the first author.
First author.
So more responsible paper. A lot of paper, but the name appears.
Somewhere. Then
no. Number is not so one factor, but the quality of a responsive part is more important. Yeah, this is my judgment criteria.
How to select a good PhD student?
PhD candidate, me?
Yeah, how to select a good PhD candidate?
Basically, so good students usually get a scholarship already for first screening. That's the reason why University of Tokyo, very limited students accept to the private money. So like you or some other, many international students already got the
scholarship.
Yes, but I also have several some students. In this case, as I told you, reference letter, it means a strong recommendation from the professor I know well. Without this, I never accept, even if I have an interview. But one exceptions is the master course students from China. So for access, but one Japanese senior company president took him to the department, introduce, because he really liked him. Then talk with them, they finally accept as a master course students without scholarship. So the confidence of the kind of support of the economical support, in the case of master course students, I can manage him to complete to the master course. But in the case of PhD, so finishing to the doctor degree is really challenging. So without my confidence, I never accept. In this case, the economical support, economic is okay. Some financial support is really important. So it means that they have to work hard. Without a scholarship, sometimes they have to do the part-time job. So it is not so good situation for the PhD candidate. Small part-time job is okay. This is my
okay. I mean, I asked one professor and senior professor. He said that selecting a good PhD student is a lottery.
No, lottery is not so good expression. So the lottery means sometimes are really not so.
If you are lucky, you will
sometimes
have
really nice students. It's lottery case, but the first screening or selections. So more than some criteria level, reference level is higher than that. Sometimes so financial situations is one factor. So that's reason why scholarship is key component for us.
That's the advantage of being associated or being a faculty at highly ranked university. I mean, because you were working at the University of Tokyo, you had that luxury to choose that way. But if some not national university even or very low rank and these things, then it really becomes a lottery.
Yeah, sometimes the local university very limited to doctoral students now. So many students go out after finishing the master course. So sometimes so the international students want to go to the program, but anyway, so
yeah. So I mean,
what I want to say then to the easy acceptance of the PhD students is sometimes a miserable situation both sides. So it means that I need to strong confidence on the candidate.
So actually, this is very much important because one person said that if you will take undeserving a student, you will be making mistake, and it will be more a bad situation. But what we learned is that if there is a system, like I will accept only with the scholarship, that means lot of the bad applications are rejected. So that is, and once that person who got the scholarship, of course, there can be some good, even among the good, there may be some of them are really self-motivated, but somehow at least we can ensure the lower quality at least. You have been PI for several big projects. You are running ReAcTT. You must be the dean of your school, at least this chair of the department. So as an administrator, what is your approach? This administration part and how a faculty should gradually shift from a research angle to an administrator, and whether they should do it or take it up, and when to take it up, maybe after 45, 50?
Yeah, But in Japan, usually according to the age, so the more chance to be got a position of the administrations, like a department or some research center, and also wants to got a big research grant. So the principal investigator have to manage for the project. So administration part becomes more and more important for the senior professor. So, but I do not find any big problem or challenge to do it, because to the before working on that as a chairman or some project leader, I also have the chance to involve in the project as one of the member. So we already look at to the leader management. I could learn how to manage to the project. So try to through the 30s or 40s, beginning 40s, I learn from them how to deal with. So that in the case of department chairman, so of course I faced the new things because I became a professor only 41 years old, relatively young. And I became to the chairman is maybe two years later or something. Okay, so it means relatively new. And also, as you know, I came back from the University of Tokyo in 1997 and associate professors and promoted professor. So I have very limited time to know more about the University of Tokyo because I work in the Ibaraki University and I know other university. But but still it is also good chance for me to learn more about the chairman work of the department. I also get a new experience. So I don't mind. Everybody never minds on a mistake or some error. So from error or mistake, we can learn from them. But don't make a big mistake. If you feel some big mistake, it is important to consult with the higher senior professor, some other faculty member to get the advice or consultations. So this kind of some connections or some communications, just I have to do by myself. I have to do myself. So narrow down. So maybe it is not so easy to manage by themselves. So it is more open-minded to politely ask other person to know more. So in this case, so the person, so in my case, I clearly realize what is the point, what is the difficulty, and also try to provide to the possible answer by me. Okay, just that this is a question, this is a problem. I never ask them how to solve it. It means that this is questions, this is a problem. I want to solve this problem by A, by B, by C, but I'm not sure which is good or not. Because A, in the case of A, it works in this case, but the C, in that case, C is best. So this is try to make an alternative answer or alternative possible investigation or interpretation or discussion should be done before, then ask them. Then get good advice. Yeah, that's the reason why I do not have a big problem, fortunately.
How to do the troubleshooting? How to handle the pressure?
Sufficient preparation. It means some high pressure events or something. I try to prepare a lot. That's the only one way that become nervous and nervous. It means even become nervous, but if I did a lot of preparations and I also try to make expected situations, imagine if this kind of thing come out, I respond to this. So it is really important to make a wide imaginations or possible, not a forecasting. What can expectation, expected situations.
Yeah, imagine the probable probable situation.
Yeah. So that it is also important of preparation. That's the reason why. So I advise to the students, once you present the set list or something, you also prepare the more than several appendix. You expect to the possible questions. Once question come, you can use to the appendix. And sometimes at a limited presentation time, you cannot get into detailed explanations. So you can also use the appendix. Please look at the detail in the appendix 5 or something. So it means a well-prepared presentation is the really try to find the possible situations or imagine situations and prepare for that. Just prepare for the good voice or some presentation time, but more contents or some, or what kind of question come out. So this is a best way to reduce or pressure.
So about being human, what motivates you every morning? How do you, what excites you about your work?
Every time I have something I want to know. I have something unknown, so I want to know more. And I'm also happy to not recognize, find out new idea to solve it, to tackle them. So thinking way, think that I enjoy the time to think about it and what is unknown, how to solve it, and what are there any good approach or something. So it is a kind of basic motivations. So that's the reason why if you do not have any some research topics to be solved or to investigate, might be less motivations. I want to drink the wine or something. But basically, yes, I keeping something to do, and also interesting things. So I want to involve in interesting things, to do more about it. I want to know more about it. This is the basic. So
how do you maintain your family life and the professional ambitions? Balance.
So to be honest, when I was 35 or 40s, I made a big burden my wife to take care of the children, because I left early morning, not so early, but
7, 8 a.m.
It means almost at least 12 hours working. It means leave to this 8 or something and arrive at 9 o'clock. I work until the 9 o'clock in the campus and come back and start to the dinner to the 10 o'clock or just before 11. So every day, but Saturday sometime I went at the time, but recently I do not know. I come back early, and also now is the COVID-19. I go to the campus one or 2 times per week, but at the time, so I work hard, and I really happy to work hard there. But to be honest, it is a not so good father, not so good husband. But now I pay back. We have to go some good place or go a dinner. So,
yeah, this is, I think, a price to pay for a good life. What about if you are, what is your general routine per day?
Recently,
on days or weekend?
a weekend.
You can give me on 40s and now.
Okay. 40s might be get up and
Yeah.
have a small breakfast, bring to the lunchbox, and commute to the campus. Then do the research, discussion, meeting, something.
Come back and dinner and sleep.
And dinner, sleep, take a bath. So it means almost to the, sometimes I never open the purse because some commute pass
is there. So just you have to touch.
Go and the lunchbox. No need to go out to buy lunch or eat the lunch. And evening, I become hungry, but I never eat. And coming back, commute pass. So I often, some pass does not, yeah, it is interesting. So I work hard every day. So my wife anxious about, your pass still have enough money or not? No, I do not use the money. So don't worry about it. But sometimes I use the money when we have the research group party, drinking party or party. At the time I pay something, so dramatically decrease. But in some cases I can use to the credit card, you know.
Yeah.
This case, some other faculty member pay for me because the other faculty member also pay some. So it means that my purse become bigger.
Yeah. So the money comes, not goes out.
So that's the reason why the almost 3 months, 4 months, never. Why? I do not ask to get the money.
No need to go to ATM.
Why can you manage? I never give the money. So it is then, yeah. So that's the reason, just to work hard and almost no chance to use the money. So this is the routine. But recently, so once a week or twice a week, but recently they get up early. Sometimes I get up 5 or 5:30 because I get easy to get early, and also sleep early. Sometimes to the 10 or before 11, and get up early. Then the recent routine is still my wife sleep because 6 was she got up maybe 6:30 or something. Okay, so if I got up early, so usually it's summertime, I got up and go to the bathroom and just to bathe, fresh my body. Then I start to introduce a new some diet is the activation of stomach.
Yeah. Yoga? No.
No. Just eat the oatmeal, some crash one. So it is good to activate to the stomach or then. So I prepare the milk and the yogurt and the vegetable juice. I prepared 2 sets recently. Then I eat in advance. Then she wake up. They cut to some fruits or some other fried egg or some additional one. Then she provide more. So today, just this kind. I prepare to these things. So that's the reason why I go to the supermarket. I buy a different type of this oatmeal or some mix something. Then I make a new style, and every 3 days I make a mixture of this, and I open it. So she also enjoyed, but she told me that recently changed to this diet in the morning, so she reduced the weight. But in my case, I never reduce my weight, but still it is really good way to conditions. And so after that, after that, I work. No,
But
my,
what about, don't go for jogging, morning 1 hour, or
no.
in the evening?
Yeah, that's working and become to the 6 o'clock. So usually I start to jogging.
How long?
No, just only 3 kilometers. Just jogging. So it means I have some jogging route from my apartment to the 2 kilometers one round. Then from this point to the 1 kilometer more, there is a supermarket. So it means the jogging and reach there. I bring to the pants and some bag. Then I bought several things and walk back. It means 3 kilometers jogging and 1 kilometers walking. Come back. And the might be weekend. I bought a beer can and sometimes do the fruits or some others. Sometimes I bought a wine. So this is the maybe 3 times per week or something. Go jogging in the supermarket. But sometimes I cannot finish my work until the 6 or 6:30. So in this case, I walk from my apartment, just 1 kilometer walk, and buy something and come back. So,
and what you used to play badminton regularly, and you used to take part in marathon?
No.
Those things.
Recently, no. So since to the COVID-19, so every year, I make a rule every year attend to the not the marathon, more than 10-kilometer running race. It means minimum 10 kilometers.
Oh my God.
To register to 10-kilometer running. Then jogging or running start to the I was 51 years old because the second or third year of the Tokyo Marathon. At that time, 10 kilometers event is available. So I registered, I was selected. Then I make a plan. So it means 10 kilometer means I was 51 years old at the time. I want to run within the 51 minutes. But I could not do it. Next year, 52. Also target is 52. I could not do it. And 53. So almost 53, but I could not do it. But the 54 years old, I attend to the 10 kilometers, but I run to the 53 something, achieve. And 55, almost a 54, and 56, 54, and 60, 55 or something. So the I keeping. So then I change to the rule. So -5 rule. 61 means 56. I achieve. And now 63, so 58. But I run 55 something, almost right. But since 64, I could not attend to it. So this is the almost
so that needs preparation, right?
No, just jogging. 10 kilometers, just jogging 3 kilometers is also good. But just before the event, I learned to the 6 kilometer or 8 kilometers.
Okay.
But not so hard. But anyway, but recently I never have the target time. So not so good my health. No target time.
Yeah. So I mean, now we are going to the very last in. What is your 3 major strengths?
Curiosity, yes. This is one. And maybe not sparing efforts. I try to do not sparing efforts means try to continue to make effort. Then maybe third one is try to be considerate of others. Try to think to other persons how they feel or something.
Yeah, that is very much.
Curious and yeah, work hard or some effort or serious to the interesting things. Then yeah, considerate of others.
Yeah, considerate of others. It's a good point actually. That can, if we are considerate to other, we can achieve things more easily and little bit less struggle. Something you are not good at.
Basically, so I do not have any some major point, but I sometimes nobody believe it, but when I was a boy, I was really kind of shy, too shy.
Yeah, nobody will believe it.
I could not. I was not so good at talking in front of other many persons at that time. But once after enter the university or high school or something, I try to change. So, but and also I'm not my body is not so flexible, very hard. So this is also a weak point. But others
now, what do you think you will be doing after retirement, or do you have some bucket list? Some like you want to do these things in next 5 years or something?
Yeah, I have many lists.
Tell me something.
So I finished my work, but almost retirement. So I have more free time, even if I work some part-time work in the university or something. But I want to first top 5 bucket list. Does it the list to go somewhere? I want to do something.
Yeah.
So the one is we plan to already make a plan to go to the France, to the vineyard, famous for the Pinot Noir, Bourgogne area. So is my senior sisters couple. They also like there. They visit there. So they strongly advise us to go together. This is one place. So enjoy to the wine and to visit to the vineyard and also buy the bottle of the wine. This is the one important things. And we want to visit to Barcelona because my wife want to go. I visit once, so I want to go. So also I want to do some nice place to the overseas. This is the group of the one important things to done. But basically do some one more things in did I told you so when I was the 21 or something, I climb up to the Mount Fuji with my friends.
Oh yeah, okay.
Then 24 or 5, I climb Mount Fuji with my wife before married. Second time, I got married, and I have the 2 sons, maybe 36 or 7. So we went to the Mount Fuji, climb up to the mountain top. The 3rd time. So next time, I want to go with my wife, or just the children wife is the grandchildren after 7 years straight or something. Then go to. This is the one important event, but I'm not sure I can do it or not. And other things, so I do not have a clear hobby, but I have to develop the new technique or something. But might be I try to have improve my cooking technique.
You cook well, yeah.
No, or some not the music, but the pottery. You know, pottery. Make a
yeah sound of
it's
that.
Yeah, but it is not so clear idea. But cooking.
But music and cooking mainly.
Yeah, it is good for future hobby or something. Not hobby. Anyway.
How about writing some book or on your
writing a book? Yes, yeah. I should do something, but at this moment I do not have any clear plan. But I plan to do it, but I conducted a too big cluster project. I almost prepared some book for the first one, but finally I do not do it. But the writing a book is the one important, not evidence, how can I say, achievement or some criteria for professors, university professor, focusing on your specialty. But I have not published, just some reading book is there, but I also write the small one, co-authors, but it is good idea to write to the very one or two persons, or only my own should be published. Yeah,
and many people will come, many publishers will come forward for the same. Now we are talking about your most favorite. What is your most favorite food?
Food? Favorite food. Favorite food. Food means not the cuisine. Japanese food or Italian or French.
Cuisine. That is next question. So what is the favorite cuisine?
Basically I like Japanese, but also I like to the Italian and also Chinese. Yeah.
How about Thai?
Thai is sometimes okay.
Sometimes okay. No.
So it means the French also nice, but not every day. It means.
But your second favorite is Italian food.
Italian is more casual and easy to
spaghetti, pizza.
Continue something, and also nice to fit to the red wine.
Yeah. So what is your favorite?
Japanese food is really wide, and also I'm happy have my wife is very good at cooking. I really enjoy the Japanese food, and also that's the reason why I like.
Among the Japanese food, what do you like most? Sukiyaki. I mean,
Recently, I prefer not the sashimi. Still, I like sushi. I like sushi, but basically I like なんだろうな、煮物だから。煮物ってわかるかな？
煮物？
煮物だから。Mixture boiling with the vegetable, potato, onion. No.
I mean, a kind of soup.
Pot? No, pot or what?
That's not like the kind of sabu sabu.
No. So it's a more family-based
food cooking. So traditional home food with soup and mixed with the meat and then potato and some vegetable. And
do you know the nikujaga? You know, nikujaga is just a potato and the onion and the carrot and the beef or pork or something.
Yeah, thick gravy, little bit.
Soybean So this kind of some food is really I like. Yeah. Not the oil, not less oily.
Less oily. So maybe teriyaki is not on the list.
Teriyaki, but the yakitori is okay.
Yakitori is okay.
Yakitori is salt base. Just
yeah, just. And what about drink? Red wine?
Beer and wine. Beer
no more whiskey.
Whiskey. Recently, I never drink the whiskey. I have a 3 or 4.
Yeah, I know.
Now it's almost. Recently, I tried to find a craft beer. Craft beer, and also selection of the canned beer. But the red wine and white wine, I still have the little bottle in the cellar.
And what is your best possession? Your camera, your tablet, your car?
I bought a mirrorless camera.
Oh, yes. So you had the camera. I think you have certain liking for photographs and camera. Always been. You always had one camera at least, but now mirrorless. It means you don't know.
There is one talk. So I organized to the appeal program, training program in Bangkok. So I took the students and go to the rural area, and I tried to take a picture, but I dropped in the phone, and my camera is damaged, and does not work. Mirrorless camera. I had. Since then, I do not buy the camera. But last year, I bought the new mirrorless camera. So, but recently is this kind of some smartphone.
It's enough.
Yeah, it's good enough. So, but still, I have this walking, hiking. I bring to this mirrorless camera. I took a picture. So I took many flowers or something. I really like. So one idea is when I get age and old, so I took really nice flowers. I put the name. I personal, not a library. That's a flower book. Electric digital flower book is one interesting idea.
So nowadays it appears in your greetings card.
Greetings card?
Somehow I feel like there is a flower always is there. I don't know whether you use, but I saw somewhere that you have put. I thought that is also part of your. You took the picture and put.
In fact, so I last year I sent to the birthday card to my daughter-in-law. I have 2 daughter-in-law. So every time I make a PowerPoint file, I put to the pictures when I took at that time. I sent to them too. I really like to arrange to the flower.
Yes.
To the layer.
What about your favorite book?
Favorite book? Basically,
other than that chemistry book.
No. Recently, favorite book is I like to some book related to water. For example, water in Tokyo, or some really some park with water is one. And also I like to read to some a history or geography of Kokubunji City or Tokyo. So recently I bought this kind of book. Sometimes a castle, introduce a castle, or sometimes introduce a different park history or where more than 200 years. This is something. Then I also visit there
and match
and look at This is a really nice walking route with the water channel or something. So mainly, so recently I bought this book, and also I have a recent 2 or 3 book on the Buddhism. Buddha. I try to learn to the different category of the Buddha and what the meaning of this and why the difference of the some roles or some positions. So I try to learn on this.
Hand positions also.
Hand positions and what's the nose part, the south and west, east, or so I really like this. So once we go to the temple, once look at the Buddha,
and then you can correlate.
Yeah, I want to know more about it.
And then people can say, "Oh, he's really a professor."
Yeah. So yes, it is one factor. Yes, I want to know more than others. So
yes, that is. Do you watch movies?
Recently, I never go to the theaters, but we also have the contract with the Wow. Sometimes we went to the movies, old one, not a new one. But
you don't watch Netflix?
No, I know, but I do not know. Our son might be. I don't know. But I do not like so much of that theater. But I never go the theater by myself. It means my wife, me. If she wants to go, I want to go together. I never propose this movie is nice. Can you go together or something? Depends on her. Sometimes I show to some candidate, but the selection is based on her. Then I go together.
So, do you have any favorite actor, actress?
Global level or domestic?
Both.
Both? But maybe not the favorite, but when I was the students, Ingrid Bergman is really beautiful. I remember the name of the dress, Ingrid Bergman. But others, so, but the Ingrid Bergman, really beautiful. I think. And domestic, so it depends on, once I continue to watch to the TV program drama, and actress becomes attractive for me. But the next drama start, I change. So, but the recently I do not know. That's the reason why usually the just every day I watch to the NHK drama, morning drama. Some actress becomes most attractive. So I do not have any preference. Easy to change.
Okay. And your most favorite time in your life so far?
Favorite time?
Which phase? Like for me, if you will ask, my favorite time was when I was in Japan studying.
Favorite time, nah? Favorite time, or but the favorite time is the recently I like this lifestyle, but the maybe 5 years ago. So when is the most favorite or some wonderful
time?
Wonderful time is the might be the research working maybe in Hiroaki University time, because I become the dependent I should do more by myself. And also I had built a house in Hitachi, and family very happy to their own house. This is one, but regarding to this exciting time, so maybe I was the junior high school boy. So I was really take a leadership of this class or school, and also I was belong to the basketball team, and I have the 4 number, the captain of the team.
Wow.
And a relatively good team at the time. Then I get a many fan letter from other school.
Wow.
And also to the good achievement in the basket tournament. And also the third year, so we have the athletic events. So the competitions were running or throwing or something. So we have the different team. I became a leader of this team. I have to manage the team. Then team compete each other, scoring. So I also have to attend to the jumping or running, 2-kilometer running and 400 meters running, and I attend to the 4 or 5, and I got a lot of score. And also finally, I also relay running that our team is won. Finally, our team won I got the first.
Wow. I can understand. That must be unforgettable memory.
And also in the autumn, we also the cultural festival. We have to do some event of the performance in front of other students. I became a Hamlet. The actor.
Yeah.
So
wow.
at that time, so I worked sports and educations and performance every time. So I believe that at that time I'm looks like I can do many things. So many girls look at me. But I was too shy at the time. So I review again. It is a really wonderful time, but I could not use well.
What about you said 5 years ago was also very wonderful time.
Now?
No,
now,
yeah, 5 years. 5 years ago, you said something that maybe 5 years.
Except to the recent before. What can I say? So
here at this page, you like being little bit less work pressure and giving time to family and children and grandchildren. So this is a wonderful time.
To this recent time, so that I look at video to the 60 years or something. So maybe around before 40 is one. Of course, I enjoy to the big project in University of Tokyo. But looking at the whole, not as whole. Because I have the house in and the two sons happy to work or play with me. This is also happy time, and also junior high school.
I want you to send me that picture where on your body your kids are sleeping when you were in USA, in the States. So that picture I want to use this for this video.
What sleeping?
Yeah, I mean when I visited your house, there was a video picture where you on your body your kids are sleeping, And
I don't remember, but
okay.
I have one picture in the Illinois. I can show now.
Yeah. So now, if I would say, did you idealize anybody so far? I mean, idealize, like I want to become like him. Of course, like I feel like I want to become like Furumai Sensei in every respect. So similarly, have you idolized anybody?
I do not have any one persons, but the similar idea is I got an education from Professor Ongaki and also Professor Matsuo. So it is not so easy to overcome them, but I try to catch up with them and also keeping my own style and to become these kind of some persons. It is the one idea, but then I do not have any special one person's name. But
what about
I expect I have several respected persons, so I want to reach to
gather the good qualities.
Still I keep in my own.
Very fair. And Ogaki Sensei was also looking very smart, and I don't know, he didn't talk to us, but I took his class lecture. What about your house is still there in Hitachi?
Rent. The family. I got money.
So is it an apartment or a house?
One house with a garden. Not so big.
Very nice. Last question. If you would have not been an academician, what you would have been?
I might be a school teacher or public officers in the government.
Not musician or actor.
But because when I was the pupils, primary school boy, so I had a really nice teachers. So that's the reason why I want to be a teacher or teaching persons and also know more about it. So some other times, so United States and the Soviet Union compete to the space rocket. And that's a really space era. So that's the reason why I really want to the engineer or scientist to make a rocket. So this is some start point. So at the same time, going to the junior high school or high school, gradually I really like to the more public work and the national institutes work. So public officer is another work to contribute to society as a government or this is my
so I think I came to the end of the all the questions. Do you get angry? And if you get angry, how do you manage it?
If I got angry, how
or what makes you angry also?
What makes angry is the if some saying or attitudes is over my capacity, acceptable regions, so I cannot agree on that idea or behavior, I become angry. So for example, to some not reasonable proposal or some thinking or saying, and also the angry to the students, they have not done
their own
well, even if they have the chance to do it. So this is angry, but I can manage to control my feeling. Is the just to be silent for a while and be considered. That's a good passion, so strong, angry come out. So wants to continue to angry, so we cannot control. Just a little bit cool down. So might be it is a good way, but sometimes it's also easy to cool down. But try to be silent some. But not so easy.
Not
but
so easy.
I really become angry, but the angry is sometimes to the students is the not angry. That was scold is right. Punish or scold.
Scolding, yeah.
Scolding them, not angry. But, for some angry feeling there, but angry becomes to the very absurd idea or some not logical is in this case to the just I said that's wrong or strange or too much, but in this case easy to cool down because the they have this they have this kind of capacity. That's the reason why to say that. Then cool down so we can control. Good answer too.
No, it's very good answer and it is very useful. Actually, I wanted to ask, and because this is the human emotion. It is if I laugh, I can get angry also. If I am very good at laughing, I may be good at becoming the angry also. That is not so bad. It is emotion. So thank you very much.